soil, water, and climate. He acquired his bachelor and master degrees in physics from Yangtze University, and he acquired his PhD in ecosystem sciences from University of California, Berkeley. His field of expertise are soil carbon cycle, soil phosphorus cycle, chemical weathering and erosion, biogeo effects on invasive earthworms in North America and Venus, India, and soil perturbation by organisms. In the past 5 years, we had a total of 40 peer-reviewed papers and 6 book chapters. He has done several major research projects and is currently working on many other more major projects. With this, I hand over the time to Dr. Kiran Studio. So please.
Okay, we are getting into a 10-minute lightning session. So the rule is very, very simple. So instead of 30 minutes, the speakers are allowed to speak 10 minutes, which is 1/3 of the time. So this is very important. Acquiring a skill to summarize your work in a short time in an exciting manner. So that is often required when you meet your new friend or your stakeholders or your funders or your peer researchers. And they will ask you, what are you doing? But then you're not going to be given a whole lot of 30 minutes. And the chances that you're going to have only 1 minute. So 10 minutes is still generous. So the keeping the time is very important. So I'm going to have this tambourine with me. So if the speaker's presentation reaches 8 minutes, I'm going to do this. So then the speakers have 2 more minutes. So if the speaker doesn't start at 10 minutes, I'm going to be as wide as possible so that nobody can hear the speaker anymore. So there's no point of speaking further than 10 minutes. So I think we are good the rule. So this tambourine belongs to me. And can anyone actually get the timer on and sit next to me? So I need one volunteer looking at me. And any student to volunteer. Any student, please. Okay. Come over and sit next to me. Okay, our first speaker is our first speaker here, and is Miss Kriketuno Verho, and she is a PhD candidate in Department of Geography at Nagaland University. So his PhD research is about the geomorphological hazard in Kohima districts of Nagaland from a geographical perspective. So please come in.
Good afternoon, everyone. Very grateful and honored to be here and to be this time. And I thank Dr. T. Studio for kindly chairing the session as well. So this afternoon, the topic on which I'm going to be talking on is impact of land use and climate change on hydrology of forested and agricultural catchments in Kumon, Lesser Himalaya. So to begin with, here's a quick glance of what I'm going to be talking about, the background at a glance, the current hydrometeorological problems in and around the study area, the instrumented forested and agricultural catchments, hydrometeorological characteristics of the forested and agricultural water catchments, and some concluding remarks. So, Kosi River is located in parts of India as well as in Nepal. So, located in the northern part of the Himalayas, it drains down towards the Kumon division of Uttarakhand. So it is considered as a lifeline of the people around there. So talking about the Kumon division of Uttarakhand, actually Uttarakhand is divided into Garhwal and Kumon division. So I'm going to be talking only about what this reverse effects have on this Kumon, Kumon division of the Uttarakhand. So data from the last 25 years shows that the lean flow capacity of the river during the summer season has dropped down massively over about 700%. And in the last 40 years, the length of the Kosi River has decreased from 225 kilometers to just 41. So this is a very major concern. This is just a glimpse of the Kosi River catchment. Back then, back then in 40 years, when it was about 240 kilometers. So this is just a picture of the river. So now talking about the minimum annual water discharge rate of Kosi River at Kosi. From 1992 to 2014, we can see that there is a decrease in the water discharge, as I have mentioned earlier. Next is the annual mean temperature trend of Uttarakhand. So there are some few fluctuations in the temperature taking into account the 10 years gap. But however, generally we can see that the temperature has been increasing over the years. This is summer water discharge to the Kosi River, and it is dwindling very fast, largely due to low groundwater recharge as a result of disturbance in rainfall due to climate change, etc. So we have seen that after 2004, we have reached this upper limit drop. So the lifeline of this Kumon region is dying away. Now this is the growing gap, water demand not met in Almora. Obviously, since Kosi River is the lifeline of the Almora region as well as the areas around there, so the water demand is not met. Now, if you can see clearly, the map on my right side shows the Kosi River watershed back then in about 40 years. So this green color indicates the Kosi River, which was 225.6 kilometers back then. But now in 2003, we can see that it has decreased to only about 41.5 kilometers. This is largely due to climate change and build-up areas, which is increase of settlement in the area. We will look at that further. Now, climate and land use changes have severe effects on water availability in the region, particularly in Kosi catchment. And immediate effects on people of more than 250 villages are dependent on this Kosi River, and therefore it is of a huge concern for the people around there. So this is the map of the recharge areas in Kosi watershed. Once upon a time, back then, in about 40 years back, these are the recharge zones. However, they are all dying away. So this is the picture, and this is the 3 meteorological stations which we have placed in and around the Kumaon region for recording of data. And this is just an illustration of the meteorological stations in Hawalbag. And this is the land cover change from 1990 to 2010. We can see that there is a decrease in agriculture, barren water body. However, there is vegetation is okay, but the buildup is increasing at a faster rate. So these two maps shows the difference between the land cover from 1990 to 2010. As we can see that the vegetation, the agriculture, and water bodies, no, not water bodies, the barren part, they remain quite similar. However, the build-up areas have increased, which is indicated by the red color over there. So this indicates heavy population over there, and which indicates that there is more demand of resources. And this is one of the hydrological stations over there in one of the meteorological stations. And this is the animal park forest catchment. It is quite covered with forest still, but due to the Kosi River is also to be mentioned that it is quietly rain-fed as well. So it is very dependent on rainfall, and owing to climate change, it is affecting a lot on the water discharge as well. This is one of the cultivations which are taking place over there. And this is the characteristics of the meteorological station in the animal park headwater catchment, Almora, and its environment. And this is also a meteorological station, animal park forest catchment, Almora. And if you can see a little bit, it's not very clear, but this is the hydrograph of animal park instrument forest catchment on a daily average basis. So we can see that this Kosi River is highly dependent on rainfall for its capacity of runoff as well. And this is the hydrograph of Almora. And during the rainy season, yes, the intensity and the frequency of the rainfall is quite high. However, during winter and summer months, yes, there's very much decrease in rainfall. So during winter and summer months, especially during winter months, people face drought-like situations as well. And in conclusion, on an average, there's a decrease of about 290 millimeter in the annual rainfall. The maximum temperature has increased by 2 degrees 4 degrees Celsius during winter months, and climate change is projected to have severe effects. The high intensity rainfall is accelerating soil erosion as well, and less amount of rain is entering into the soil, and therefore the rain-fed rivers of the Kosi, the streams, are also decreasing. The natural water recharge resources such as springs and dara have degraded over the last 20 to 30 years. And not only the quantity of the river is decreasing, but also the quality of the river is degrading as well, which makes it very unsuitable for consumption as well. And the main causes behind the diminishing natural resources is change in land use and climate, particularly rainfall patterns, snowfall pattern, and change in temperature, increasing temperature. And the increasing rainfall intensity occurring over a short period is resulting in high incidence and intensity of floods in the river basins and high proportion of runoff and reduction in groundwater recharge, again reducing storage. So that's all. Thank you for your attention.
Okay. We have time for questions. So I didn't even have to use the camera. So please, any questions? And I have a question. So the study you are doing, what's the kind of implication for example,
Landslide is not very clear over there. In some other parts, but this command division, we are focusing mainly on command division on climate and land use. So for now, since vegetation are also very high, landslides are not very common. But in the near future, I think it will also lead to landslides.
any other questions? Then we'll move on. Yeah. So, this cricket Tuona Belho, and she did an excellent job. And then she actually took the most difficult spot because she was the first one. So now you get the kind of sense of 5 minutes and 10 minutes. So to give you more sense of the time, she actually completed her talk in 7 minutes. Right? So now you know it, and you may think, okay, I should have spoken slowly. So you're okay to use your own smartphone to kind of time you up. You can do that too. So now our next speaker is Dr. Benissa Pillay, and she is an assistant professor in the department of where are you? Okay, yeah. She's an assistant professor in the Department of Chemistry at Kohima Science College here. And she has been teaching for the last 24 years. It's a long experience. And she got a PhD by conducting work on the geochemical analysis of the shales. And she did a PhD at Nagaland. And she has worked on, continued to work on the geochemistry of the rocks. And she has 7 publications, and she advised 1 PhD students. So with that, please come on in.
Very good afternoon to all of you. First of all, I would like to thank you, Dr. Yu, for a wonderful introduction. Okay, so I don't know, I am from chemistry. The work I am just switched in environmental chemistry, which is partly related to the earth science as well. So let me just start my topic. Mainly, see, we're going to talk on the hydrochemistry of neighborhood water bodies of industrial coal mine in Mon district, Nagaland. We know that the devastation in mining is a very big issue, burning issue. I would like to quote our mother of nation, as Mahatma Gandhi says, everything is there for our need, not for our greed. Exactly what we are supporting on this, which was, I mean the greed, I mean, which I am supporting the adverse effects on the environment caused by the mining industry. Okay, let me just say the mining. What is the importance of mining? Mining is necessary for the nation to have adequate and dependable supplies. I mean, generally we can say for the development of economy or even in the other. Sorry. Sorry for the inconvenience. And then here, the first the coal mining in this area, that's particularly in Nagaland, it was stated way back in 19th century by then the East India Company, and still it is continuing there. Now they say with reference to the Eastern Himalayas, because our topic is here with respect to the Eastern Himalayas, I'm just giving importance to the coal mining area place here, and our season means one district that comes under. See, these are the two areas. Area of investigation is a plain-looking town at the western bank of Dikko River. The area is covered by barrels and tipan zones. All is exclusively contained to barrel formation as long as with a sandstone and carbonaceous state. And the thing is, depending upon the nature of the coal, we can say that it is semi-bituminous nature. Then the another one is okay. The Thiru, you just see from the my talk will be mainly confined to the water bodies contamination. You can see the blackish color as well as this. Let me just say first about the nature of the terrain. You say between here it is a sloping terrain, as we can say. The area involves both the hills and plain. Hills are formed from the sediments. Plain is from sediments and hill is from the rocks as well. Then, if here coal mining is in the foot, that one I told, coal mining is in the foothills of Nakimora region and low areas in. Okay, then, I would like to say about the water contamination. We can see the color of the water here. That is, which is some is red in color, other is blackish in color. It is due to the acidic pollution. That I will talk in later. So here again,
Dr. Vinita,
yeah,
I think it's best if you let me control.
yeah, let him do from there. Okay, see here the first one I mentioned about the water pollution. Here the coal industry, one of the main problem is the billowing smokestacks. Smokestacks means it releases the particulate matter to the air, which can lead to the formation of smoke, or even after that it settles down to the water bodies and keeps the increase in the sedimentation level in water. Here, then the negative impacts of the coal mining, what we are saying, first one is the acid rain drainage. We know that coal contains excess sulfur, which is on oxidation convert into sulfur dioxide, and on the leaves after followed by rains or like that, it convert into acidic water and it reaches or collects in ponds and pits, and later on it just drain out to nearby water bodies also. The next one is mountain top removal because our topic is mainly regarding the land management. Here I can say that the one of the major drawback of the mining out here is during the mining time they used to use the explosives to wreck the area. Though that time it may lead to the some shaking in the rocky region, and even due to that the aquifers get damaged there. Then you can just say these are the examples. We can just say the difference here that upper part of the photos is it shows that the thick vegetation followed by the the removal or the deforestation followed by the collection of water bodies, mainly the acidic water bodies in ponds and all. And here again, the another one, the major problem the major health issue or the problem caused by the coal ash. Coal ash is the ash which contains concentrated amounts of toxic elements including arsenate, lead, and mercury. Most coal ash is stored in unlined ponds or pits, and over time, this ash can escape into nearby water bodies and ultimately it affects the potable character of the water as well as the irrigation quality of water. Then it is during the mining process, some part of water, it just pump up to the nearby water bodies, which can enhance the temperature of the surface water to 20 to 25 degree Fahrenheit. We know that as the temperature is increases, dissolution of oxygen decreases, naturally it hampers the existence of aquatic organisms, especially fish. The people from that area says that especially in the post-monsoon season, that many fishes to dies off on the surface of the water due to this case. We can just have a look on the my analytical results. Almost of 70 15 samples are placed here. And let me just say about the pH. As I mentioned that due to the acidic oxides which reach out to water bodies, it enhances the acidity. So consequently, the water of the surface water or even the spring water, pond water or whatever maybe the water bodies, pH has been decreases to considerable range almost to 4 to 4.5. So it is quite acidic in nature, and one of the main reason is the one and the very important river in that region is just contaminated, and throughout its flow to the main river Brahmaputra to the Assam Valley, the entire region water standard get depreciated due to this acidic environment. So in this case, I have to just say what are the impurities, and I can just conclude due to this, what do you call this coal mining, the impurities caused by one is due to the dissolved salt that is tedious, another one is increasing in acidity, another one is sedimentation. Let me just try to say how the sedimentation affects the sedimentation in the water body to just object the free movement of light to it, oxygen to it, so it indirectly gives a hazardous nature of the aquatic breathing level or breathing available oxygen. Or it is directly related to COD and BOD. The COD rate is also, it is not in support of the aquatic organism. So generally I can conclude what I have to say that, but all this it says that maybe that if we can take some measures or we can advise to the rulers to take some measures for proper recycling of water and to make it available for potable and irrigation needs. It's good for irrigation needs. That's all. Thank you for your patient listening.
Time for one question, one short question. Right? I just want to know one thing. Have you submitted the report to the government?
Yeah, actually, now, honestly, I say now only hardly 30 samples. We are having a plan to take it into PhD work. If it's so, with more, because Mostly my work is related to what I present here post-monsoon. So post-monsoon and pre-monsoon, we have to comparative study and I would like to give it.
Yeah, why I'm asking is because as a part of the team which has conducted tour on a report on this area, I've also been to this area some 5 to 6 years back. And we have also reported to the government on the nature of the gold mines here. But as such, we were not able to go into the detailed research study of what, the chemicals in the water, condition of the water level, and these reports, if it can be put across to the government can take more effective decisions on this because there are a lot of issues on this, not only in this particular mining area, but all over the state. We have coal minings coming up, which are growing and mushrooming without any regulation. So that is where we need the researchers and the inputs of these specific studies in order so that the government can make a more effective policy decisions on how to go about it.
So from missionary, if you're supporting, we are very much here to help being academicians. Actually, from our community, what we feel the academicians can correlate with the administration. We can do many things. In fact, we are not doing. So anyway, thank you for the suggestion. We are so happy to accept it. Let us see whether we can form it. Not let us see, we will do.
I'm also taking a lot of notes. So if a speaker likes to hear my comments about the presentation, please come and see me after this session. So our next speaker is Mr. Weniiso Kapo, and I really apologize for. I think I'm mispronouncing all the names. I'm so sorry. And so he is an assistant professor in the Department of Botany in Kohima Science College, and he has done 23 years of teaching service. And he's also a PhD candidate in ecology and plant diversity, and focusing on forest ecology and phytosociology and biotechnology. So we already have 2 publications. So with that, where are you? Okay.
Yes, sir. All right. Thank you, Dr. Yu. Good afternoon. I will be speaking about the assessment of disturbance in a nearby forest. And at this time, I also like to acknowledge the help given by my research supervisor, Dr. Lisa from Nagaland University. Well, the objective of my study is to assess the past as well as the prevalent disturbance in the forest and attempt to quantify and define it in concrete terms like forest species composition, species diversity, forest community structure, and hopefully say something about the impact of difference on our forest. And finally, we'll try to identify areas for further researches. I had a very simple experimental design. I chose 2 forests of known disturbances types. And the first forest is Tosoma Community Forest, JCF, and the second one is Pulebaza Wildlife Sanctuary, PWLS. And the types of disturbances I've chosen as a reference point is between grazing, and the other is large-scale selective extraction of trees in the past, about 5 decades ago. And so JCF experiences a very intensive grazing, but it has not experienced very extensive tree felling through selective extraction. On the other hand, the wildlife sanctuary is fenced off, so it is safe from grazing by animals, but in the past this has experienced very, very tremendous tree felling through selective extraction of trees. Large trees are almost gone now. So this is my study area, India, Nagaland, Kohima, and this is the Google picture of my study area. And to put in perspective, uh, the tiny red point, if you can see, that's where you went yesterday. You climbed up, right? You parked your vehicle somewhere here, and then you climbed up, and you went there. So B is the Jotsoma Community Forest, and A is the Wildlife Sanctuary. And so the two differences are this, that A, on the one hand, it does not experience grazing, but this is experienced fast extraction of trees. This is a much larger area, which has not been, really affected by selective extraction of trees, but this is experiencing tremendous pressure through grazing by mutants. Moving on ahead, I'll just quickly run through this one. These are methods that I applied for my work. I just followed the standard method for plant collection, sampling, and identification of plants. I wanted to study. I took different sizes: 100 square meter for trees, 16 square meters for shrubs, and 1 square meter for herbs. And I have also done belt transects of these dimensions. And the students use this GPS, Forestry Pro for measure of height, and software like MS Excel and MapSource. The total area sampled in my study is 1.71 hectares, and the work was conducted in the altitude range from 1600 to 2200 meters above sea level. Well, these are the things that I've considered for each species: the frequency, abundance, the basal area, the relative frequency, relative density, relative dominance, and I have calculated importance value index for all of the species, and I've applied this diversity measures to all the species. And these are some of data I've collected from the meteorological report of Kohima, Directorate of Soil and Water Conservation. So the rainfall pattern is monsonic, as you are aware, and the rainfall is concentrated between May and October. The temperature is not too high, just warm, doesn't reach 30 degrees Celsius, and the least during winter is about 40 degrees Celsius. And the relative humidity is high all over the year. Right? In all the 3 years that I've done, it's been high, and these are the details. Well, the results. So JCF, the Jotsoma Community Forests, have overall recorded higher number of tree species, higher number of herb species, but equal number of shrub species with respect to the wildlife sanctuary. And with respect to the diversity in the indices, the first two, Shannon's and so the first, the number 1 and 2 for diversity in the indices, and the fourth and the fifth, the last one are richness indices. So it's very clear that JCF has recorded high species number, high richness, but when it comes to diversity, it has recorded less. You can see 3 against 4. And one of the reasons is that there is not evenness of species distribution in JCF, but a lot of evenness. So although this is scored less in terms of sheer species number, it has scored more in terms of species diversity index. So the same trend has been observed with shrubs as well as herbs. Then when I did a comparative study on the density of the 3 groups of plants, trees, shrubs, and herbs, it threw up some interesting results. Firstly, I use color codes here. Blue is always for Jotsoma Community Forest. Red is always for the wildlife sanctuary. So blue, it has recorded high tree density of 9.26 in 100 square meter. But it has recorded very low density for shrubs, low density for this one, but it has recorded more in tree density. On the other hand, the wildlife sanctuary has recorded very, very high density of shrubs and herbs, but low density of trees, which means in the Jotsoma Community Forest, trees density is very high, but the undergrowth is very sparse. And the reverse is true for the wildlife sanctuary. Now, even in terms of the size of trees, and I've measured through the DBH, or diameter at breast height. Now, in general, the trees of the wildlife sanctuary are much smaller. As you can see, none of the trees exceed the DBH of 80 centimeters. On the other hand, JCF community forest recorded the very high DBH. Some of the trees recorded up to 1.4 meters in diameter, large trees. And so the total basal area is worked from the DBH, so not surprisingly, JCF has recorded 20 square meter per hectare, which is about 4 times greater than that of the wildlife sanctuary. And with respect to the dominance pattern of tree species, it's very uh, interesting to note that these two species, namely Lithocarpus recurvatus and Quercus lamellosa, dominates this whole area. These two are oak species, so these are basically oak forests. On the other hand, the dominance of tree species in the wildlife sanctuary is more uniform, shared by a good number of species. Then, with respect to tree families, especially Fabaceae, Ericaceae, and Lauraceae, dominate JCF. Now, as many as 8 species dominate, 8 families dominate the wildlife sanctuary. And the same thing with the shrubs, herbs, and the pattern is quite similar for these two sites. And then this is the forest structure, vertical structure. About 4 layers are seen. About 3 distinct layers are seen in wildlife sanctuary. And then these are the various pictures of for diagrams. Then these two forests are part of the same forest system, only separated by physical fencing. Why are they so different? One of the reasons I believe is because of the history of large-scale extraction of trees, and you can see evidences from this tree diversity, and then all these are indications or evidences of past extraction of trees. And another factor that contributed to the structure of the forest is the grazing biomethans, whereby in an area where there is extensive grazing, there is low density. Where there is no grazing, there is high density. And so, the last shot, parting shots, it is a beautiful canopy of JCF, beautiful canopy, luxuriant undergrowth, not so luxuriant, becomes barren, almost barren. And so finally, what will be the fate of this? I believe that this is a recovering one because it is fenced, although it has been disturbed earlier. Whereas for JCF, there's a big problem because of mituns. No, I don't mean that mituns. This mitun, what do you do about that? So finally, I will, and with this, more research is required on effect of free-ranging mutants on forest regeneration. Then it is used sustainable study of this traditional method of rearing animals, and then need for human intervention for conservation of primary forest because we can't grow them anymore. So thank you. If there is some question.
We run out of time. Okay. All right. Yeah. So if you arrive late, this is a lightning session, which means the speakers have only 10 minutes to talk about their work. So the rule is, if I found the speaker has only 2 remaining minutes, then I will shake tambourine for a second. But if they go exceed, more than 10 minutes, I'm gonna shake the tambourine violently so that no one can hear the speaker. So far, you guys so good that I'm somewhat disappointed because I really wanted to shake the tambourine. Don't give me, you're not giving me an opportunity. So where's Dr. Eunice Arlinger? Okay, she is. So Dr. Eunice Arlinger is assistant professor in the Department of History at Kohima College, and she has 14 years of service. Her expertise is in modern India, so she wrote a PhD thesis on an environmental history of Nagaland with a reference to water resources between 1881 and 2001. So she has published 4 papers, and she has published her work in several seminars and workshops. And she has organized and coordinated programs at various state and regional levels. So please come on in.
Thank you, Dr. Liu, for the kind introduction. It's a lightning session, so I will move fast. My topic is water management challenges in Nagaland. Objective, I have two objectives: to scrutinize nature of land ownership rights, because this is a huge issue now. Unique and complex roles played by the community owners as well as the government in management of water issues, and to understand the present top-down approach, whether it has led to a gap in communicating development needs to the local communities. And the last one, to evaluate prevailing positions and to suggest reasonable solutions. So I have not put any physical, data, but I'm trying to focus on this demography. If you can see here, Nagaland has witnessed the highest growth rate of urbanization in the country in the last 3 decades. And so this is a huge problem for us in management of water resources. We have talked a lot about this. 93% of land is under the traditional owners and 7% under the Nagaland government. Here again, further division, village, khel, clans or individuals. And all these factors combined, I think this is both factors combined, it makes Nagaland among low performing states in water resource management across data collected by the Government of India. Some issues and challenges which the Nagaland government is facing right now. India in general has terrible water statistics right now. 600 people don't have access to water. 3/4 of the population don't have water coming into their houses. And also in the water index, the quality of water, if it's compared to the world, other parts of the world, India is 120 out of 122 countries. So it's very, very low. And in that, in relation to that, Nagaland government has been pushed by the Indian government to make a few changes. And so what they have done is they have come, I'm not talking about the past, present, changes they have made. They have drafted the Nagaland water policy, and it is a draft copy. And also what you are seeing here is a fragmented approach. And also it's not an integrated approach we are seeing. We have lots of projects that have not reached full fruition in Nagaland. For example, I'm just going to mention one or two just to give you an idea of what it is all about. There was an agreement signed in 2018, and this agreement was supposed to, if this materialized, then it was supposed to solve all the water issues in Kohima town. And it was signed between two villages in Peren and also in Konama village here in Kohima district. But after this was declared by the government, very grand ceremony, signing and all that, newspaper articles, within 2 months, some other communities came and said we were not consulted. So this cannot take place. So it has been now kept at abeyance right now. And also what you are seeing here is government initiatives are slow in resolving major institutional gaps. How do I say it's slow? Because they, for example, in the case of irrigation and flood control, we seldom have flood issues, only in flat regions like Dimapur, some areas of Peren. But this department was existing for a very, very long time. Only in 2018, they changed it into water resource department. So they can have a more, broad-based policy in play right now through this. But then for a long time, they were just functioning like that. Also, there is delay in pace of development projects. Land acquisition is a huge problem. I've calculated the total amount spent in 2018-19 alone, and it is around $31 million US dollars. And so Nagaland has done well in two aspects: surface water restoration, watershed development. Yes, we have seen the data here. We have done well here. Where we have not done well is here. Rural drinking water, only 46% has access, fully covered, and no improvement in water quality. Arsenic and heavy metal contamination, 5 districts. One study done by chemistry department of this college also. So a health issue. how do we relate this with health issues? And we have not correlated with the health services department. This is a factor. Another topic is the urban water. Only 23% have access to water. And I've already told you about this 3 decades where we have seen the highest rate of urbanization in the country. So no data is found here. So it's an area of research. We have to see how the nature of water, all that we have to study here. Impact of that. And also policy and data. Nagaland has not enacted legislation for conservation of water bodies and has no integrated data center. But how can that be possible when 23% is outside of the government purview? This is a huge problem. And if among the local communities, there is a problem. 93%, of course, the land is with them, but usually it's development projects are prescriptive model, and they are not willing to part with ancestral land because they cannot relate with it, they cannot understand it. So another issue is Indian government has said in 2015 that water policy will be framed in the European model, where water is under one directive. And it is the economic model where water is valued. Economics is used to determine how water was best valued. So there is a problem because Naga society is non-economic and non-materialist, has this aspect of ownership prevailing in Naga society. So, there is a disconnect here. How to let the Nagas understand development projects. And also, when they put forward this policy matters, it offers little practical guidance to reconcile competing values as stated water. If you lose your land, then you lose your identity. That is for the Nagas, that is reality. But that is not defined by the policymakers, how to correlate with them. And here we have a huge issue. 2018, Tizu, Dansri, and Doyang rivers were marked as national waterways. Many people don't know about this, but it is in the plan. 111 waterways were marked by the government of India in 2016. 3 rivers are under this, but nobody has studied on the impact of river morphology, hydrology, ecology, and habitat. So this is a huge research area that we all can contribute in, the impacts. So this is one community water management case in Kohima town. You have seen this, right, as you come up to Kohima Science College. So this area here, there is a huge problem because now government is wanting to say this is reserve area forest, but the TKL, 4 KLs are there in Kohima village. They are saying that this is protected area and they should have access to water. They should be distributing the water. So across from here till the Aradura Hills, they are in charge of distribution of private water, private distribution of water. And so these contentions affect the local community in this way. You can see all the pipelines here. Rate of water in Kohima is one of the highest in India. It is highest in one of the highest in India. You see commodification of water. And so the demands of urbanization, rapid population growth, and struggle for space between community and state government. This is what's happening because of this issue, land management issue and water management issue. So the findings is that tribal land ownership and water management is not without its limitations. So it has to be addressed in the local level. And till now, no urban center studies done on the nature water supply. So district-wide study may be undertaken. From comprehensive data, reach and exclusion of water management projects, social and economic aspect has to be studied. And 3 critical issues which has not come to the domain of the localized level, which is the moving of the water from the state to the concurrent list that has to be discussed because this is under proposition. And the inland waterways issue and legislation water bodies. So this impact of all these 3 has to be studied, and challenges are expected to continue. It will not stop suddenly. It is expected to continue, both on the technical as well as the political aspect. But how to, correlate the technical aspect with the local conditions. So technical aspect should support the local conditions. So both global warming and rapid urbanization are problems of 21st century. But contemporary issues in Nagaland cannot be resolved through traditional practices only. That is clear. On the hindsight, any development process without reconciling traditional values will lead to disfranchisement of the indigenous people. Thank you.
So we'll move on.
So our next speaker is Ms. Anungula Ponjera. And she is an associate professor in the Department of Geology at Kohima Science College here. And she has 25 years of teaching experience. And she did MS work in marine geology at the University of Bombay. And she is also currently a PhD candidate at Nagaland, and she is working on ethnogeology and anthropology in Nagaland.
Good evening. Thank you, Dr. Phil, for the introduction. My presentation is a little different from the usual which we've been talking about since the last 2 days, but I think when it comes to the objective, it is the same, and that is integrated land use management in the Eastern Himalayas. So my talk is on entomophagy, basically on entomophagy, and which is the practice of eating insects. Before I go to my findings, why eat insects? Because it has health benefits, protein and fat, very high content of protein. It has very high content of minerals like calcium, iron, and zinc. Insects already also form a traditional part of many regions, as even for the Nagas, it's a traditional item, insect. And even FAO 2013 have stated that edible insects ought to be considered prime candidate as both food staples and supplements, as well as more generally for their role in sustainable diet. It has environmental benefit also, require very less space than management, that is cold-blooded. That means it is very efficient in converting feed into protein. And I have a table to show you. Insects can be fed on organic waste streams also. And this actually insects which is farmed to convert to be used for making feed. We can, culture them or feed them with manure, dig slurry, and compost. And they emit very relatively few greenhouse gases and relatively very little ammonia. Now we coming to the efficiency of feed conversion. As you see, this is here. This is the amount of feed, okay, per kg of feed, and this is the amount of production of conventional meat and cricket. So here's a comparison here. The conversion of feed into meat and in poultry, in the pork, and in pig. And you can see here, the conversion rate is very efficient in the cricket. 80% of the cricket is edible, this one, and digestible compared to 55% for chicken and pigs and 40% for cattle. And this means that crickets are twice as efficient in converting feed to meat as chicken, at least 4 times more efficient than pigs, and 12 times more efficient than cattle. Then coming to the emission of this greenhouse gases and ammonia. You can see here, this is the emission of the GHG, and this is the sources. You can see the amount per kg mass production, how much they are emitting. Then we also have here the ammonia per kg mass strength for 3 insects here, then comparing with the pig. So you can see here it is 10-fold different. It's 10-fold different. Livelihood benefits, economic and social factors. It is very low tech, the farming of this insect, low capital investment option that offers entry even to the poorest sections of society, women and the landless also, because it needs very little space. Offer livelihood opportunities for both urban and rural people. And you know, talking about the turnout, money cash in Cambodia, you can see here it's just a small example. 150 to 200 gram can fetch about this much of 0.45 cent, right? Dollar. And Indian, that means if you convert it to Indian rupee, it is 31 to 55 rupees. And in Thailand, in rural areas, per kg, you can fetch 2.25 to 50 to 50 US dollar. And in rural, urban areas, 1.68 to 4.75 US dollar for farmers. And that means this much in when we convert to rupee. So world, approximately in the world, coming to my study, 21,000 species of edible insects have been identified. And in India, we have about 255 edible insects recorded. And in Nagaland, we have identified the most recent record is 82 insects. Okay, and from these 83 insects, edible insect that has been recorded in Nagaland, we have this farming. We farm only two types of insect. That is the silkworm for silk and food, and also apiculture for honey. Now this cricket, which I want to talk about, farming of cricket, we have about 6 species recorded from Nagaland, and the species which I want to talk about is the nutrient content in this particular species. This is the species which I have identified, Davidskillus sportingus. So present scenario in Nagaland about edible insects. Menti research has Menti documented the indigenous knowledge of the edible insects of an area by listing insect species and how they are used. Only a few use the scientific method to generate new knowledge around nutrition. There is no work done yet on farming of crickets, other insects, except silkworm farming and agriculture, and no attempt to combine indigenous knowledge around edible insects of a particular location with new knowledge to generate a more complete picture of entomology in the area. Now, I have estimated the approximate nutrient composition of the insect, and here, if you look at the protein and the fat content, it is very high, especially the protein, 51.89 grams. That means 52 grams, okay, per 100 grams of insect. And that's also very significant. And if we compare the fat content in my insect to that of the protein and fat content in conventional food sources, egg, chicken, beef, pork, you'll see that the protein content is almost equal to that of the content of the protein in egg and chicken, but it is very much higher than that protein content in the beef and the pork. And then, but the fats lower than all of these conventional food items. Then the mineral content was also estimated in mg per 100 grams of the food samples. And you see here, there's a recommended intake care category reference, and it is, I think we can consider from the result that it is a very good source of minerals too. From a sustainable perspective, they can be considered as one very best source of protein substitute for livestock meals also, an excellent source of minerals, and alternative meat protein source to conventional meat sources. And I have also went for a field survey, a closed type semi-structured questionnaire was used, and from here I have found out that the frequency, the consumption frequency, frequent consumers were 25%, infrequent 29%, and non-consumers 46%. So actually, consumers together, infrequent and frequent consumers 54%. FC consisted of these consumers who work in the field and can collect the insect any time of the year. Availability very less in winter in the natural environment, plenty in monsoon. Infrequent consumption was due to several reasons, not habituated. However, if available, they are willing to consume it. Scarcity of its availability and during seasons of crop cultivation. So my conclusion is, I'll be looking lots of more suggestions from you because technically I'm not very sound. I'm new to this. Research work to look into the feasibility to rear the insect with priority on critical elements like its biology, rearing conditions, and artificial diet formulation. The Faculty of Agriculture at the National University in Lao PTR and the Faculty of Agriculture Khon Kaen University, Thailand gives training in cricket farming. We could avail these training courses, liaising with relevant policymakers and researchers to make this work. Systematic farming of the insects could be one sustainable alternative to conventional livestock with less environmental pressures. Okay, these are some of the pictures. Thank you.
So, our next speaker, Mr. Bendam Tenzin. Okay, so our next speaker is Dr. Bendam Tenzin, and he is an assistant professor at the Department of Geography at Fazl Ali College in Mokuchung, Nagaland. And his expertise is in environmental management and sustainable development.
Good afternoon, and thank you, Dr. Yu, for the introduction. Okay, the topic is there. Traditional practice of land management and Mokuchung district, Nagaland. We have been discussing about this traditional things and modern things from for the last 3 days. So, and one position which our former speakers have mentioned, I'd just like to put, if I'm allowed to put, Dr. Porter has mentioned about this traditional techniques in such a way that innovation in agriculture made by the farmers, if I'm putting it correctly, innovation in agriculture made by the farmers, that is what I have heard about this. Since it is to do with land, I'd just like to quote one quotation from Food and Agriculture Organization, which was published in 1997. Land and land resources refer to a delineable area of the Earth's terrestrial surface, and encompassing all attributes of the biosphere immediately above or above the surface, including those of the near surface climate, the soil and terrain forms, the surface hydrology, including shallow lakes, river, marshes, and swamps, the near surface sedimentary layer and associated groundwater and geohydrological reserves, the plant and animal population, the human settlement pattern and physical result of past and present human activities, that is terracing, water storage, or drainage structure, road building, etc. So all this, I'm sure, we have covered up in these 3 days. And land for the indigenous people is life. So comparing this definition and the explanation on land given by the indigenous people, it can be correlated because everything that is to do with life is given by this Food and Agriculture Organization.
So basing on this, I would like to just give a brief talk because this is a micro study which I have conducted, and it is in Mokokchung district, and I'll be going down to another micro level, which will be a village. So Mokokchung district is located on the northwestern part of the state of Nagaland. It comprises of hilly terrain with small patches of river valleys scattered in different parts of the district. I'll just skip this. Um, the district comprises of 6 range with a total geographical area of 1,650 square kilometer. And with this map, I would like to discuss about the physiography, the relief of Mokokchung district. Looking at this map, we can see that the 6 ranges that stretch in the district will be here. It is Serangkong, and it is a hill range which are parallel, and it extends from northeast to southwest. The hill ranges stretches like this. And yesterday we were discussing about the river flowing towards the north. You'll find out the highest altitude is here. So definitely the water will flow down towards the plain area. And all this here we have the Brahmaputra river. So it flows towards the north. Now, my findings, I'll just highlight this. Traditional practice of land management. These are some general findings which I have found out from this study. Every village in the district has an equilibrium setup. Why an equilibrium setup? Because you'll find that all the villages that are established in the district, and it's not just confined to Mokokchung, but all the villages in Nagaland, it will be applicable. This every village is set up in such a way that they govern on their own, and they have developed that, and they have been living with that. So even today, you'll find that every village has their own democratic setup, and a major part of the land belongs to the clan in the village. So some of our speakers they have mentioned about common land or individual land, but majority of the land will be with the clans, different clans, depending on the size of the village or how many clans exist in the village. And here, this is my finding. I don't want to invite any gender issues here. The eldest male number among the clan takes the first privilege, or he is given the first opportunity. Talking about this privilege, he is given the opportunity. And take collective effort to clear path for the Chung fields. This I will discuss, and clear community bonds, conduct boundary survey every year. So this is where I'd like to elaborate this boundary survey. And one thing which we have seen yesterday, I think it was yesterday, we have no reliable quantified data. So this is a problem for us. And when we look at the data that we collect, many of the data will be told by the people, by the indigenous people, and we collect those information and we put up in the form of a research. So quantified data and quantified research is very difficult in this part of the world. I have taken this case study in Tilsa village, a small village just 5 kilometers away from Mokokchung town. And this is the map. And talking about this, the traditional practice about the land management, you'll find here, these are 3 boulders. And this signifies the boundary between 2 clans. Here, just next to this, there is a clan lane, and just next to this, there's another clan lane. And looking at the arrangement that they have made in all the areas in that village, you will find that this boundary is laid, and you'll find that this stone, which shows the direction, will follow the direction of the boundary. So there's another slide here. You'll find that they use this bamboo because this is the only available material now. Otherwise, they used to lay this wooden oak to demarcate the boundary. So what you'll find is that this wood, when it is left behind for the fallow period for 5 years or 8 years, 10 years, 12 years, this wood which is laid on the boundary, it is still found up in the next cycle. So they can easily demarcate the boundary. So that is one thing that I have found out from the study area. And there are some suggestions which I would like to put forward. There is a need for a GIS database of every individual block of land for the district. It's not just, I'm sure, the different departments like GIS, CL, and Science and Technology, they have met the whole state, but this individual plot of dome lane have not been done. So what you'll find is that why I'm suggesting this, because in the later years you'll find that the people who used to shoot those boundaries, they are decreasing. And many of the people now, they don't know even the boundary, the village boundary or the clan's boundary. So there will be a problem in near future. So my suggestion is that if there is a GIS-based map where every plot of the dome field is marked, then that problem can be solved. And documentation of information on land and its resources is very important, because documentation in a way that every dome field or the river, streams, all those have their own significance. The name is given with a significance. So all this documentation is required, and research and development still is required, and collaborative effort among departments for implementation of projects. And sustainability is one very important thing which we all have to take into consideration. And in conclusion, integrated land use management is the way forward. That is our theme here. And a model village, just a model village I would like to choose that plantation group like coffee, tea, etc. should be planted about 1 hectare around surrounding the village, and fast growing trees bamboo in the next level, because it is a hilly area, and with terrace cultivation in the plain area. If this can be adopted, then it will be a very good venture for the people of the district. Thank you.
One more minute. Great. We are moving on to the next speaker, Dr. Monaku. Where are you? Dr. Monaku. More. Sorry. I apologize. So, Dr. Moakum is an assistant professor in the Department of Botany in Kohima College, and he has 7 years of teaching experience, and he has a PhD in angiosperm and taxonomy. So his areas of interest are floristic studies, ethnobotany, and phytochemical studies. And he had a postdoctoral fellow award of Ankara Jagadish Chandra Bose. And he already had 12 publications. So with that, and welcome.
Thank you, Dr. Yu, for the introduction. This topic I have chosen to share some of my works and my friends' work. Like I have a very good friend, Mr. Santanu Dei. He's not here today with us because of health problems. And we have a close association working on these floristic aspects for almost 10 years now. And then I try to keep this presentation as simple as possible because we have a mixture of different disciplines. And then it will be sort of a follow-up of some of others' presentation. For example, like in the first day, we have heard about different type of vegetations, and then we heard about the forest cover, and then we heard about just now through our Mr. Winnetou Skafu's presentation that different layers of forest, different composition, but we really don't know what actually that composition is. And some of us may be aware of those things, but here I want to bring to you in a brief with pictures. I'll be taking you through pictures only so that everyone understands it well because it's a very diverse composition. If I speak of pure in botanical terms, it would be a little boring. So I would like to, and my objective as well is a perspective on the plant diversity. And I'll be emphasizing only on the angiosperms because I'm a specialist only in nature. There are so many different group of plants, gymnosperms, angiosperms, lower groups, higher groups. And when you look at the classification or the vegetation type of forest, basically we look at the forest canopy cover and which is mostly covered by the angiosperm groups. So I would like to start with this. So before I go into detail, like I just want to give a brief highlights on this, like I followed champion and set criteria for classification. And before I go into like most of the classification which we come across in several groups like are based on data which is given before independence. Because Flora of British India group, Flora of Assam, those are the work done by the Britishers. But we still follow those data to classify our forests, but we don't know how much the forest has changed. So here, I try to classify, I should say, in the 4 different categories, like a tropical deciduous forest, tropical evergreen, semi-evergreen forest, subtropical mixed forest, and temperate forest, and mixed bamboo forest. But I'm not emphasizing much on the mixed bamboo forest. But I want to say one thing before I proceed. Like I want to quote, which is stated by Masters in the year 1844. I quote, like I presume it would occupy an experienced botanist 10 years to explore the whole Naga Hills from Boridihing to Dancery in a satisfactory manner, none of them having been hitherto visited by any botanists. So, which I can say here now, we don't have practice trained botanists so far. And we are really lacking in that, we're much lacking in that. And because of that, we are finding it very difficult to understand the composition of the forest in the real sense. So I would like to go forward here. So here's some recent works. Research works in forestry studies started after the inception of Nagaland University. BSI was the Botanical Survey of India was there, but he could not give like their best, but he could not. Just recently we have this Flora of Nagaland by Sapu Chalvija and his guru. We are very happy for that. And BSI, they are also trying, and they have given out the checklist, which I'd like to show here. This is the one. But this checklist, in this checklist, they have given 2,363 taxa. When I say taxa, it is a plant in any level. Okay. So this taxa is comprised of based on the collection which is done before independence, 40, 50, 60 years back. So we need to update our data. So here I made an attempt to classify. I'll just quickly go through because see, when you look at these tropical deciduous forests, like I took in the criteria of the elevations and the rainfall, and these are some dominant and common species for us to understand. When you talk about tropical deciduous forests, when you look at the forest, there are different layers. Top canopy, second layer, middle layer, the lianas, climbers, and the herbaceous vegetation. So when we look from outside, we just see the canopy. But what is actually inside, we don't know. And looking at the canopy, we said that forest is dense. Forest cover is big. Good. But we need to know what is inside also. Okay. And I should say like one thing, like we do a lot of plantation. When we do plantations, like the second, third, fourth layers, they get lost. Only the top canopy remains. So whether are we really doing the right thing by doing the plantations? Are we really regulating the plantations by introducing economically important plants in our forests? I just want to give a thought on that. So these are the plants these are the species which occupy the top canopy. Just now. And next to that we have these. These are different species like which occupies the second story and the forest. These are the ones. I don't want to waste time reading up all these things. You can read them yourself. And these are the common shrubs because trees, shrubs, herbs. These are the common shrubs. I hope you all are familiar with these things. I'm not going to detail again. And these are some scanty shrubs. When we say scanty shrubs, they grow around the trees and some medium trees around. So they also compose a very important part of the forest composition. So we need to understand them well, but which we don't find in plantation field. So these are important ones. We need to, and these plants, they have a close association among us. Like we stick with one person with similar personality, common interests. Plants are also like humans. We also like to stick around with one another. So we need to understand the composition, whether this and this plant stay together or not, whether they grow together or not. If you destroy one plant, the other plant automatically just go away. Okay, so we need to understand the composition of the plant. So herbaceous vegetation, when we say herbaceous vegetation, they are ground vegetations. So they play a very important role. Sir Kapoor, he has highlighted very interestingly, like the wildlife sanctuary, and then this the Bikun grazing area where the vegetation, herbaceous vegetation, and the tree vegetation, and my findings and my understanding correlates with his findings. It's same. So, and when we come across, there are some plants which indicates whether the particular forest is a degraded forest or disturbed forest. So, based on our experience, we can say that when we come across these examples, I'm just giving you some examples, these plants, then automatically we get to know that that area of forest is a degraded or not. We can easily understand that. And next type is tropical evergreen insinuated forest. These are the top canopy composition, second story compositions, and the lower story. And there's some prominent shrubs, small trees. These species comprise of that layer, and some important layers of those this layer in this forest. And then the herbaceous vegetation, which covers in the particular forest type. And there's some interesting. This particular forest is a very rich. It consists of lots of epiphytic parasitic plants. These are parasitic plants. These are parasitic plants, belongs to Doryanthaceae family, and they usually grow on these Quercus and then Shima walachi. So if those trees are not there, these species will also disappear. Subtropical mixed forests. I'll just quickly go through because more are there, and then common shrubs, and then herbaceous vegetation, temperate forests. These are the different ones, and then I'm just going to show you some treated endangered plants. These are the treated endangered plants recorded so far, come across by us. And then some new species are here, a lot of new species. And then new report for India, we have so many. And why I want to show this is that because we are discovering new species at least 1 or 2 every 2 years. That shows we are yet to explore it well. Not the botanical exploration is required, documentation is required. And for that, we need trained and field taxonomists. And we don't have many practicing taxonomists because after PhD, we don't practice our taxonomy. Our research, we don't practice after PhD. So what I want to say is that a lot of the students are the friends I hear, like, we need to practice what we have, what we are specializing in. And field taxonomy is very much lacking. So with this, I'd like to say thank you for patient hearing. Thank you.
We have time for one question. Who is doing the bookkeeping about the species in Nagaland? Yes, who is making the whole category of the value species?
Actually, like when we come to this florescent inventarization and documentation, we need to have one herbarium. But sadly, we are yet to establish one proper herbarium in Nagaland. And our college, we are trying to come up with that. And that herbarium is the best institute where we can avail all the information, all the testings, but we don't have one such in Nagaland. We're trying to bring it up, establish it very soon. Thank you.
So now we have the last presentation. So I'd like to introduce Dr. Casey, and he is an assistant professor at the Department of Geography and Resource Management at Mizoram University. And he has published 8 books, including edited volumes and several research papers in peer-reviewed journals. and he has visited Europe and America and Africa to present for his research work. And he's also the founder, president of NEH Geographic Research Forum, and currently General Secretary of Mizoram University's Teachers Association. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Here is my research question. The first one is that we start with agriculture and now we are going to end up with agriculture, right? And finally, go back to the team. So here is my research question. The first one is that majority of the population living in these surrounding areas are dependent on traditional cultivation, which we find now outdated, but there's no other alternative. And then the actual objective here, why we practice seasonal cultivation? And the second one is to explore different types of farming system which may be suited for us. And finally, I suggest that we may do kind of integrated farming in a coastal area. So this is the key objective. So as I said, what is the reason why we practice? Because we have no option, right? I think I have not spend my time try to explain about why we don't practice seasonal cultivation, mainly because of the geography, the rainfall conditions, the physical characteristic, and the landscape. We have no option, right? That is the reason. And here is a challenge because of increasing population. Even government of this particular, Himalayan states are trying to, find an alternative. But so far, there's no such kind of acceptable, common form or common practices that we can follow. So that's why today we come here to find another alternative, this alternative. So in charge of this, I'm trying to go through some phrases, for example, like mixed farming and kind of outside. This is a result which you already see even in the last 2 days, and because I know I have no time. So here is the part which I would like to share: integrated farming. So this is a very dynamic concept, right? As you can see here, in simple word, it means using many ways of cultivation a small space of land. So this is what I'd like to bring up today. So there's a lot of components which I'm not going to deal with in detail, and not different types of farming system. So after looking all these types, what would be the best practices that we can adopt in this particular region suited with our geographical, difficulties. So then we can conclude that let's integrate all these things, and let's just pick and choose what would be good for us, right? So otherwise, it may not be possible to try to integrate all also. So therefore, the solution is like let's have integrated, including rainwater harvesting. So this is a model which I just edited, which I downloaded from internet and try to shoot with my, concept. As you see here, like we can, I think, take together of the existing paddy field, because if you look, especially in these regions, that all the floodlands are between the small, the ridges, so between the mountains, and also we don't have such a huge land, especially in Mizoram. So I realized that Nagaland has a better flood areas after visiting this place. So this, I think, may be the best way to adopt all, but to focus only on the floodland area and the surrounding area. So therefore, we can put together all these things. And the first step I'd like to suggest here is to identify the cluster area. Because generally in Nagaland and Mizoram, all the villages, let's say almost, not all, the villages are having kind of area like a flatland or between the ridges where they can practice. We have to identify first, along with the academician or the government, the department concerns. And then after that, we have to prepare land. So it may be a bit difficult only for the farmers to prepare the land, but with assistance of the government departments, the concerned departments, like irrigation, rainwater harvesting infrastructures and all. And also paddy field, we have to utilize all the flatlands plus the surrounding adjoining stuff. For example, like this is how it happened, for example, in the case of Mizoram. So, the paddy lands, the flatland is very limited. So in this case, I think we can utilize the surrounding. But here, instead of terracing, we can apply the missile technology. So for example, like if there is no water, perennial water particularly, so I think we can also take in like rainwater harvesting so that we can use natural gravity to feed the agricultural land. So I think this kind of integrated approach is very rare. So, and then we can also have a protected forest because it is all about the land reform, because otherwise we need a very comprehensive approach. So ideally, the missiles should be introduced only down below half of the hilltop. Depending on the location, some horticultural crop might also be cultivated in the upper part of the hill slopes. And animal husbandry, crop rotation, and here is market linkages, which we hardly talk in our traditional shifting cultivation. So, but once we do a cluster base, I think the market linkages can also come. Otherwise, if you shift after 1 year, then providing road is not right what providing for only 1 year, considering the harvest, the product. So then we also can have, I think, contract farming system here. Ending a building road, as I just said, and transport. And here, agro-based industry. This is also a vision paper. We can say that this area should be extended in increasing production. Agri-production can be also the source of raw material, right? And also, when you produce something, I think that the production in the agricultural field can be a source of raw material for agro-based industry or food processing or whatever you call it. And for the black wheat mill, something like that. So, but we should also be considered about the political will, right? Otherwise, especially in this part of the world, if the politician or the government, stakeholder are not taking into consideration, we cannot go ahead at all. So that is very clear. So this is the vision, like that I conceptualize. It somehow crystallized my idea here. This is the practice in Vietnam. I really miss Dan, Dean, if he is here, if he can somehow supplement the paper. So this is the practice in Vietnam that apart from, if you look carefully, this the paddy field, the irrigations, and apart from this, we can include like rainwater harvesting, like mechanization, not necessarily the hi-fi one, but which is suited in our areas, maybe a smaller one. And also, I think animal husbandry here and there. So, and rice mill, and missile instead of terracing, and also protected forests on top, and propelling rod, food processing industry, and therefore we can have this kind of then the area will be once expand using the agriculture area as a center, so it can expand like this. But the limitation here is for the land ceiling system, right? So the privatization and all these things are really true all. So this is another limitation we have to deal with. In the previous paper also regarding the water resources. So community has their own kind of observations. So looking all those things, we have to work together, we have to think together. So that is where I'd like to put an end to my, presentation.
We have time for questions.
Right, thank you. So I really appreciate all the speakers for sharing your area of research, but also in a very timely manner. So let's give a applause to the speakers. then speakers, if you need any, like to have any comments from me about your talk, and then comments. Thank you.
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Good afternoon. How are you doing? You must be wondering why I'm running around with all these files at the end of the session. Because this is one of the most important part of our symposium, the group discussion. We're going with the last technical session, which is group discussion. And this is the session where every one of us can participate. We have learned a lot of things over the past 3 years, days. Seems like years now. Anyway, yeah. So this is the time where we can share what we have learned and what we think we could do beyond this, beyond the knowledge that that we have learned, and some of the knowledge that how we can put it into practice. So I request every one of the participants to join at least one of the group and share your concern, your opinion, your ideas, so that we can develop something which we can work on together. So we have, for these sessions, we have 4 groups divided as group 1, agriculture, group 2, forest and natural resources management, group 3, water resources and climate change, and group 4, socio-economic aspects. So these are the 4 areas. When you had your registration, you were asked to enter in one of the group. But over the 3 days and listening to various presentations, you might have changed your mind. That is okay. And you can change to a different group. And so we are thinking of touching upon some of the things we have seen in some of the presentation, especially the research needs, which was presented by Dr. Yu, that highlighted 2 documents that was given to you yesterday. So we'll use that document. And on the first day, there was a panel discussion where we come up with some ideas to do research, and then highlighted 4 very important areas to work on. So we might, if the group decide that you want to discuss some of those, you can discuss that. Otherwise, if the group decide that, okay, I want to share a different opinion, I have a different idea which seems to be really great, might work. So you can work on that as well. So I would let the group decide on what you want to discuss. And then at the end, each group has leaders. So leaders are responsible to work on some of the points. And then we will have the group discussion for about 40 minutes. We're running late by about 30 minutes, but we will continue for that. We'll take the entire 1 hour for this group discussion. So each of the group will take 40 minutes having group discussion in different rooms. You will be assigned different rooms, so you will have to go there. And then after 40 minutes of discussion, you will return here. Each group will return here. And some of the group members, it could be the leader of the group, or 1 or 2 members of the group will share for 5 minutes each for each of the group what you have discussed. And that will be very important outcome of our symposium. And we will use that outcome or the summary from each group to be included in the policy brief that we're going to bring out at the end of this symposium. And that will be included in the book that will be dispatched to the covering departments, which might help in the policy decision making in the future. And so you have a huge responsibility today. And I would request every one of you to provide what you can for this, because this is important. And so we have a rule sheet for each of the group. So even though you have given a different group, you can go to any of the group that you want. So let me work on a group here. Since I am in the group 1, and I'll be reading out the names until all the groups are sent out. So group 1 will be here in the conference room. Group 2 will be in the zoology department. And I request the group leader, Andrew James, to take his. Andrew's around? And he's still playing with the phone. I would like those people who wants to be in the group 2, forest and natural resource management, to please stand up and leave the room and go to the zoology department. Our local lead is Sir Sukafo, so you can follow him. So, Andrew, your group is leading now.
What is group? Oh, where am I leading?
To the zoology department. Mr. Kaufel will lead the group. And can somebody please collect these and give these to them? You can take water if you want. Water is outside. And group 3, water resources and climate change. Dr. McNair, you could kindly take this, and you are going to the mathematics department. And your local lead is Dr. Sanjay Sharma and Parna. Please, the local lead will help you find a room. You will be back after 40 minutes of discussion to the conference room. And group 4, socio-economic aspects, Dr. Dean Curran, and your local lead is Kathy Naki, and you are going to IQSC room. IQSC room. Water mathematics. And group 1,